a lot of ways you can make it work, and I love when we get into our best of 5 format, but we're not in that yet. We're a well ways away from that. We are jumping straight in to our first game of this best of 3. IG on blue, BLG on the red, the Karma, the Caitlyn, the Renekton. We're seeing a lot more priority on this Karma ban. Feels like there's teams playing it a lot in China.
Yeah, definitely. The Karma and the Veigar, two things we've been seeing pop up over the past few days in regards to the ban phase. I think tells us a lot about the scrims going on. For BLG, you have things like the Nidalee you can take off the table. The little Blanc, I think, would also be a good option when going up against Uakai, but doesn't look like it will be the Nidalee. And as we have been, since we've been on patch 12.2, we will continue to be on Zeri watch in the first ban phase.
We will see if IG have any priority on it. We're going to wait for that last ban to come out. It looks like with this Aphelios ban, they are looking to maybe first pick the Jinx. Again, the Corki is still very much an option should they want to go for it as well. It's still very powerful even on 12.2. Not as powerful as it was on 12.1, but still, as we saw Doom being that last game, it is fairly potent, and there's going to be the Zeri locked away. So 3 of the 4 AD carries that we would expect to see in that bot side banned away. IG have an opportunity here to take away the Jinx and give themselves something on the bot side, or go for something completely different.
I mean, I would expect the Jinx to come out. I will say for On, though, he has primarily been playing the Aphelios so far, has 4 games of that, 1 game on Jhin, Samira, and Jinx respectively, so will be a second game on the Jinx here. And for BLG, we've already hit on some of the things like Gwen that are potentially available, especially when you're choked out so much in terms of bot lane priority picks. They are just going to go straight towards the Ezreal with Karma off the table. I guess it does open up the Yuumi pick to be able to come out and set up for you to play more around the top half of the map.
See what they want to go for. It is going to be the Cat Boy in the bot side. It's going to be the Yuumi and Ezreal locked and loaded, ready to go. And now we'll see maybe a Thresh here for the IG bottom lane. They could go with the Lulu as well, something that can do very well into the Yuumi itself. And actually, something that we completely slipped our minds is actually that Twist of Fate. Uakai was underneath Crying on RNG last year, but not going to go with the Twist of Fate this time around. Got to go with the Rise. We're seeing an awful lot of heavy priority on this mid laner, picking it so early and picking it blind.
Yeah, we've been seeing... I mean, I feel like it doesn't have any, like, atrocious matchups in the meta. If more teams are willing to pick things like Syndra, which we have seen globally, have not really seen much of here in the LPL, I think it would be a bit riskier, as we do see the Hecarim coming out for the side of IG, so already wanting to commit to this all-in composition. Also, if the enemy side did get Hecarim Yuumi, that would be quite annoying. I agree, Uakai.
I mean, annoying is an understatement. I think it would be quite devastating, as we've seen plenty of cat horse.
But this, Ashin, this is devastating as well. This is why, you know,
Yeah.
we were hitting on the Rise. I was kind of expecting IG to pick Gwen on 3 just for the fact of like, hey, Yuumi plus Gwen, also so ridiculous. I do understand not wanting to blind pick top lane against Breathe though, because Breathe is another player who is just willing to pull out anything. Even has like 3 games on things like the Akali top so far this split, so has been willing to reach pretty deep down in that champion pool. But now for BLG, going to be banning out some of those top laners that we just hit on. You would expect them to be... Actually, for their next pick, right, the enemy's already showing both mid and jungle, so you can kind of go in either direction. Assuming IG ban out maybe something like Viego next, I'm curious where Weiwei will go.
Maybe the Lee Sin.
Weiwei hasn't played any Lee Sin this split.
I feel like it's one of those junglers, though, that is always in the back pocket of a lot of the junglers. I feel like it has to be. And yeah, the Lee Sin banned away by IG. So maybe the Viego, the Jarvan could also be another good option here. Something that can jump in with the Gwen and make a real name for yourself on that backside, especially with something like the Jinx, that we have yet to see any real peel for the Jinx as of the moment. But no real support bans available for BLG means that we should see at least anything they really want to go for Lucas. Could be the Thresh, the Nautilus, Leona. The sky's the limit in terms of what he wants to pair up in the bot side. Oh, okay. Fofo picking in the Veigar into the mid lane.
Yeah, so we do finally get to see this pick coming out. I believe the buffs he got were actually on the next patch.
12.3, yep.
Yeah, I think Veigar, definitely a solid champion who fits the compositions we've been seeing really well in terms of like the long range setting up with zone control around like Dragonflies, Rift Heralds. Now we're going to get to see how Fofo does utilize this one.
We'll indeed see how that one goes. And
oh, wait. Also, I was wrong. He did get a buff on 12.2, and actually the next one was on 12.4.
That's wrong. We're so far behind now, man. We're just so far behind as we wait to. Oh! Stop! I'm gonna stop being wallowing. That's a Riven in the top lane. That's Zika. Zika on the Riven.
Yeah. Okay. We were questioning this guy's champion pool, but bringing out some spice. We've been saying, hey, Gwen not having a ton of answers. One apparently coming out here. BLG maybe gonna round out their comp with a few more Yordles.
I actually love this into the Gwen as well. It can go toe-to-toe. You can get the stun down as well, and this is such a huge moment here for Zika. He can be the carry, and I'm loving that IG are just committing to this, doubling down on this identity.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're going to see how this one pans out, right? Because for the side of IG, you have like certain champions, the Hecarim wanting to run forward, kind of serving as this front line. Zika wanting to play for the 1v1s, potentially come in on flanks and team fights. I think it's a little bit scattered, but still has an identity in those 5v5s. For the side of BLG, it's all about kiting back, playing from range. You have the cage from Veigar. You have, Ezreal being able to kite out with his E. You have the ultimate coming out from Poppy. So I think very clear direction coming out from BLG's composition.
Again, both teams, I feel like, will be pretty damn happy with what they've gotten. We talked about how BLG are slower off the mark. They like to take things a little bit more cautiously, and things like the Ezreal Yuumi, very safe. Veigar, incredibly well set up to just keep himself farming and safe in the mid lane. This is just going to be kind of the proactivity, like you mentioned, is going to be on IG. They need to make moves. They need to make options available to them in order to just try and scale this game away from them, because in terms of scaling, BLG kind of have a lot available to them, so there's going to be a lot of difficulty here for IG if they let this game go late.
Oh, 100% right. I think there's just a lot of ways to dissuade the engage coming out from the side of BLG. We already hit on some of the tools, even Yuumi ultimate being something I didn't hit on earlier. You do have the Hecarim, so there's potential for you to find your way into the enemy backline. But man, I'm just curious and excited to see how this top lane matchup goes. Zika coming in has been a solo kill monster so far, and giving us a taste of some Riven.
I am very, very excited to see how this one works out for everyone involved. And it's another opportunity to see as Zika is, I don't want to say it because it's a bit of a meme, but the Shy 2.0, someone who can just pick random stuff, make it work, and get us excited for IG again. We'll have to wait and see as we jump onto the Rift for game 1 of this best of 3. IG hunting for their 3rd win, BLG looking to get themselves up to 5, and both these teams very much looking to try and set themselves up for the halfway mark in a positive way.
Yeah, also to note, Fofo did go for the Predator. This is the go-to rune when you do see Veigar in the Rift. You do sometimes take things like First Strike to try to get to item breakpoints faster. You also could go Unsealed Spellbook, but this one definitely going to give him a lot of agency in terms of trying to have an impact on your side lanes, and that was something we were hitting on for BLG that we have not been seeing that much. So Fofo can have an impact, in regards to especially the top lane matchup, which, again, I'm not an expert on Riven. We never see Riven in pro play. No. You're going to assume this is a pretty volatile matchup that if one of these champions gets ahead, probably swings very hard in their favor. Zika now taking the Ignite as well, so having those violent intentions.
Yeah, I will say that does feel like it does something very similar to what the Gwen wants to do, but a little bit more intense bursts. Of course, you got the key strikes, getting yourself up the auto attacks, of course, and a little bit of a stun. So a lot of solo kill potential up in that top side as we wait to see exactly how it all ends up panning out. Both junglers starting on blue sides of their own respective jungle. Wait to see where they want to put the pressure, because it does look like the Poppy does feel a lot stronger going into this composition, because you look at all the things that want to try and dash into, especially with the engage. You've got Shun on the Hecarim, and of course Zika with the Ignite top lane as well. It's going to be very difficult for them to make something happen if the Poppy is there.
Yeah, I think that the Poppy in this draft definitely gets a ton of value coming out from the champions it's against. Something I want to highlight, just pivoting back up the top real quick, is also the fact that Breathe did take lethal tempo. We saw a little bit of lethal tempo when the change to the rune first came out, being able to, stack up, get the bonus range, but not much afterwards. I do feel like Conquer just gives more to Gwen in terms of the healing and damage provided, but more range is a gank coming through.
They're going to go straight into it, and that's the combination you can use. You can just push Yukai straight into the walls to get his flash out of him nice and early, and that's a really proactive move. Really good to see that here coming out from BLG.
And we were questioning the proactivity coming out from BLG, that not even questioning it. We just know there hasn't really been any.
Yes.
So it's nice to see at this level 3 mark them setting up with the cage to be able to find the gank. Again, it also just has warmed my heart of like getting the TFT yordles on Summoner's Rift.
This is something that we... Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I was just going to say, this is also sort of kind of a draft that we didn't really expect to see coming out, regardless of the Riven.
Either draft, either side.
But that's what I was going to say. Regardless of the Riven, this isn't or even like the Vega, the what I call the sexy picks. You know, the fun little things you get to talk about as such, you get excited for because they're brand new. But even just like double enchanter bot sides, you know, it's not something that we necessarily associate with LPL supports, are these kind of more slower scaling bot lane picks, and Shun feels like he can maybe make something work. There's a plenty of burst damage here. They will have the heal on the Yuumi though, so maybe they're gonna go for it. Yep, they're gonna fully commit for it. They're gonna get the full back up to full health. He gets polymorph straight away, but they're gonna try and make this dive work. Shun can only take one more tower hit, and he cannot take any more. They will get Lucas out, but no, he won't. He'll die to the turret. And now Crisp trying to stay underneath this tower, trying to take this one back with the minions. It's Crisp versus the world, and the cat gets the double bumps.
My God, that must be so tilting for the side of IG. They have a bit of a wave. They try to set up the dive, getting taken down by the cat. Well, they found opportunities in mid. They've now counterplayed in bot. Things are going, I guess, just according to plan for BLGs. We see here, Ghost's Pop comes in with the E. Polymorph does come out, but he's not having enough damage to finish him off between the barrier, the heal, the exhaust. All 3 defensive summoners coming out for the side of BLG.
I will say, yes, the kill credit doesn't go over from the Lulu to anyone, but if you die to an execute, you still get the XP. If you're around that, you will still get the experience there for that, so they should have gotten that for both Crisp and for Doggo. As we now see what happens at the top side. Shun is not done yet. We will see the Ignites being both traded back. Now Breed in a little bit of trouble. They'll combo it up very, very nicely, though, and try and get him knocked down. This is still a Gwen, though, and the Gwen can nearly be immune. Not quite able to make it work. Shun making up for that bot lane blunder.
Yeah, that was pretty terrifying to see. We've seen Breathe, I guess, doing a nice job of maintaining control in this 1v1 matchup. Nice by IG, trying to make it volatile, as we thought it would be. Shun has been putting up the early pressure that we expected IG to put on the Rift. BLG going to respond, though, by picking themselves up the first dragon at 5 minutes, so they can get this, you know, dragon train rolling pretty early.
Doot doot! All aboard the dragon train. It's going to be Weiwei as the conductor. Getting himself nicely set up here. And this is kind of what Weiwei just needs to do. Just get himself set up, and we can look at the replay here. This gets very, very close because Breed got the reset whereas Zika did not.
Yeah, and we saw, you know, like the full stack snip coming through. Does look like Zika did get the stun off before being able to jump away. And then, I mean, the healing coming out from Breed. Still, though, Shun was way too healthy, able to wait for the Q to come back up and get that damage down.
Come back in. Calm ourselves down. It is about a 500-600 gold lead in favor of BLG. That's mainly coming from CS lead in the top lane and a little bit in the bot as well, so nothing too crazy there. And Shun, he's not done. He needs to make this. He knows the early game is where he's able to make things work for him, and he's gonna go try and make this bot lane work again. Yep, here he comes. Dun, 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 dun. Tries to get on top, will not get himself there. Yuzu's on top of shadows, and you should not have put up the white flag, Doggo. That was disrespectful, and you get slapped down.
Yeah, Doggo thinking he got away, still ends up getting feared in the end, so they pick that one up. Weiwei, though, looking for a response on the opposite side. Zika does spot him out with the ward he has placed. I think he should be pretty fine.
He's going to go for it. They're going to try and stop him out with steadfast presence. That was absolutely beautiful there from Weiwei. But now when you have got your mid laner here, can Weiwei get himself out and alive? The Horizon focus doing so much to zone away Yukai. And now you've got so much more potential here for BLG. They're not going to be able to get more of a trade back. But here's Shun. Shun might look to try and get the kill off onto Weiwei. They're going to jump straight on top of him underneath the tower. They will get the kill back, but it's traded 2 for 1. Now Breathe in a little bit of trouble. They're trying to get around the Horizon focus, but he just cannot get away. As I say that, it is still a Gwen, so they'll deny it a little bit longer. This game is chaotic as hell.
Yeah, this game so far is an absolute mess. Both teams trying to respond to opposing side plays. Shun, okay, isn't gonna spot out Fofo, and no other shenanigans are gonna happen of, you know, a no mana Hecarim and they are trying to kill each other. We're gonna go straight to the replay though. Nice use of the W coming out from Weiwei to knock him to the wall, but Yukai is here to save him. does stun up Weiwei, then gets a little bit ahead of himself in terms of trying to find the kill on this Poppy. Does leave him between a rock and a hard place, ends up giving Fofo the kill, but if you see the mini-map, we do see that Shun has been waiting in the wings the whole time. Does go down to the turret as well, and then Shun pops the ghost here, gets a bit of extra damage off on the E. Actually, doesn't even use the E. Just throws out 2 Qs to be able to pick up the kill.
I was gonna say the actual Blade of the Exile ultimate part of this. What that? Oh my God! Did they steal it? I don't think they did. No, it was actually confirmed by BLG. And look at the Horizon focus down. That's gonna be a shutdown on the Shun, and now Zika gets himself over the wall, but not able to get anything else there. I feel like Shun had Smite. I'm not quite sure why or maybe he didn't. I'll have a triple check on that one there. But at the end of it all is still the Baron, or excuse me, not the Baron, the Rift Herald going over to BLG. And I will call you out a little bit here, Lyric. You were...
Was it the ult?
It might have.
Me out on?
No, I'm not calling you out on the ult. I'm calling you out because you said, before we went live today, BLG is going to be boring. They don't do anything. And you know what's happened? They heard you. They heard you, and now we're at 10 kills, not even 10 minutes into the game, and we got an exciting matchup to come up.
Why you gotta do me like that? Why you gotta do me like that?
Because I very rarely get one up on you and Dagden. I gotta take my W's where I can.
You know, I gotta say it, right? BLG been good. BLG have been a very, let's say, mundane team in their wins. But you're right, this time around, they not only came out with the fire in the draft, but coming out the fire on the Rift so far. I mean, 2-0 right here for Fofo in the mid lane. They've had an advantage the whole time so far in the top lane for Breathe as well. And for an Ezreal Yuumi lane, I mean, as long as you're farming evenly, you're completely happy, right? They've already dedicated resources to trying to find kills on you. And sure, the second time it did work. We did see the emote flash by Doggo, maybe a little prematurely, but still has a kill under his belt as well.
Yeah, again, look. It's great to see from these two guys, or these two teams, I should say, that they're going tit for tat. They're trying to make this one work for themselves. And again, it accelerates the game. It accelerates the gold. You know, when you have 5 kills apiece on either side, where we'd normally be maybe about 15,000, we're now up to 16, 17,000. And that does have an effect on how players play. It does have an effect on who gets their items first. We already see an Essence Reaver now for Doggo as the rest of the team roaming around, maybe looking to try and start this dragon off. It is 25 seconds away. You will have pretty much summoners across the board. I love that Weiwei took Hex Flash, by the way, because it means he can roam around with the cat and just be a nuisance in places you wouldn't expect him to be.
Especially right now in River, we see on the minimap Shun is also waiting in the wings. IG did have a bit of pressure from the fact that their bot lane was able to push out first because Doggo's coming off of a reset, but still the fact that Weiwei just hovered and showed mid means that BLG will have a way to enter in River. Breed does have TP though, so IG will need to try and prevent that with Zika's pressure.
Not going to TP, but remember, it's still pre-14 minutes. You see now they're going in with the final chapter. Those traps are stopping Fofo from joining this fight. Weiwei almost dead as we come back into this fight now. On did get the Growl growth, so he has not got that extra protection from Lucas. And now Doggo has joined the fight. He hits one more Mystic shot, and he should be able to kill off Lucas. Not going to commit his Arcane Shift just yet. Oh, just getting that poke down, and you can see just how powerful it is with this Yuumi that the Ezreal can be so confident.
Yeah, and I mean, they just got so many summoners out of that trade. And thinking about it more, right? We kind of talked about that BLG's comp can pretty much kite out anything that IG throws at them, and like their one chance is the Hecarim getting in on them. But the Event Horizon, oh no.
Yukai, well, never mind, he hasn't gone down just yet, and they'll take out Doggo before he falls. So it was very touch and go there for a second, but there's not enough burst damage. They weren't able to kill off the Rise, and they do trade back the Ezreal.
I'm surprised he even put himself in that position, you know, staying around to try to answer the Herald take. But, yeah, for the side of IG, now the only place they have been able to generate any pressure has been that top lane matchup. But still, BLG, about a 1K gold lead. They've been making all the right moves. They know they don't need to take this too fast. IG, though, going to be able to pick up a dragon in response for BLG using their tempo to make the play on mid with the Rift Herald.
And you've got some plates as well for On. You've got some solo lane experience as well underneath his belt. Still waiting to pick up his Gale Force, I imagine, is what he's going to go for here. Just needs to try and keep himself safe away from the Yuumi and, of course, the Veigar W's. So nice moves here from the side of IG. Not to be outdone just yet. Still, as you say, just under 1,000 gold ahead. Actually, about 600 now for BLG as Doggo will be able to pick up this wave in bot side. Have a quick look at the items being completed. We have an Everfrost here for the Vigars. We go into a replay, and again, this is just Doggo kind of, I'm not quite sure what he was trying to go. He arcane shifts in.
Yeah, Arcane shifts in. Yukai TPing to try to save that one because Shun was waiting in the wings, but not able to get that one down. Now, I'm curious to see where Weiwei will look right now heading up towards that top side. Breathe looked like trying to get a bit of a stacked wave set up. Fofo roaming over as well.
Yep.
You would assume his Predator should be up.
Yep, you would assume so, and he's going to be able to whack himself away. Weiwei recognizing there's no real need to stay here. The rest of IG could be making themselves known up in this top side. Yukai going to try and maybe steal back his own blue buff. As I say that, though, Weiwei might be in a little bit of trouble here. They're still chasing on. Shun is a little bit faster than you can imagine here. Has the pink. Blue Smite gets knocked back as they use the Realm up to jump in, but that's the Lulu dead. Fofo just doing so much right now on this Veigar, and it's just turning these fights around. This Veigar is massive.
Yeah, and that was just so tragic for IG. You can understand what they were going for, because Lucas had roamed up to the top side first, but still getting a bit too far ahead of themselves. BLG pick up more kills. They're going to get more damage on this mid lane turret. Looks like without a wave here, Shun should be able to defend, but just tragedy after tragedy for the side of IG as Zika makes his way down towards mid to threaten if the overcommit did come through.
And the big thing is, we talked about the scaling at the start of it, but again, you're hyper-accelerating BLG right now. This Veigar 3-0-2, already at 6,200 gold, nearly 2,000 gold ahead of Yukai. It's actually getting to a bit of a point where the scaling doesn't matter. You just can't fight into this team.
Yeah, and we're going to go straight into the replay of the fight we just saw, right? IG want to contest because, look, Lucas is here, Ezreal, Yuumi on the opposite side of the map. So, bit of a numbers advantage if Zika can roam over. We see the Realm Warp coming through. Shun gets knocked away, and then Lucas in a tragic position, easily able to get stunned up against the wall, and then Yukai having nowhere to go. Fofo does commit the ultimate, and they pick up some nice, sweet cash money.
Here comes the money for the Veigar who's still stacking. And yeah, I want to call out as well, Weiwei has been exceptional on this Poppy pick, has really found the opportunities to make things work, has made himself known, and even in that last play, Weiwei has no right surviving that, but gets the knock into the wall, jumps out, flashes away, and just able to keep himself relevant in these fights. So now with Rift Herald started, we might see another skirmish come out, as there's about couple of members of BLG here. You don't have the Gwen though, and Breathe is a little bit of ways away. He would have to commit his TP should he want to go for it. We will see them try and commit though, and they are going to TP up on the top side of this. The Onslaught of Shadows comes in, and Doggo is dead. Now Weiwei in a lot of trouble. Double kill for Shun. You're now in a 5v3, but remember, it's a Gwen. They flash over the back with Fofo, so IG still fighting back, still in this game.
Yeah, IG now have a Rift Herald. Yukai not even there contributing anything to the skirmish, and IG still able to come out ahead. IG should even be able to get this mid lane turret off of this one. Can start pivoting in towards that bottom side, you know, get some vision, preparing for the dragon.
Yeah, they might prepare for the dragon. They might go for 2 turrets here as well, because again, they've got on. Not going to commit fully to it though. They want to try and get themselves reset. Like you said, the dragon will be spawning in just over a minute's time. And IG bring the game back up within about 300 gold. This is good from IG. They're not letting this run away from them, and they're starting to find good responses to what BLG are throwing at them.
Yeah, one thing we know about IG as a team is that they're always going to like try and force their hand to find these advantages, right? BLG coming in after the Herald take comes through, but we see the Hecarim ulti coming down, CCing Doggo, able to layer the damage to finish him off. Breathe sadly wasn't part of the fight to be able to contribute anything, and the fact that Doggo went down right away, right, IG just having more damage in a war of attrition.
Yukai using his exhaust there. Not quite sure he needed to, as he had already tanked pretty much all of the needlework, so just backs himself away. They do end up trading that Summoner out. Does have Summoner spellbook, so it's going to go back to his teleport. But now with Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, this mid lane turret is but a breath from going down. BLG will claim that one for themselves and put themselves into a nice position going up towards the top side or even the bot side of the map.
Yeah, it looks like BLG wanting to take away some camps and enable Breathe to push. Engage comes out.
They go straight in on the Doggo, who flashes away. The Onslaught of Shadows there. Weiwei trying to jump onto the Lulu to keep him away, but look at and he gets chunked out completely by Fofo, but keeps himself alive just barely. And in a 4v4, you just don't win this anymore now. You have to back away. IG will still get up themselves a kill. They'll get the top or bot lane turret as well, and they can rotate for Dragon.
And that damage coming out from Shun is so surprising, right? The Chem tank damage on top of just his normal damage coming out from his E.
Turbo
and
chem
beam,
tank.
yeah,
God,
there we
that's
go. Turbo chem tank damage. It was pretty surprising, right? He pretty much was able to get the burst down all by himself. They are able to translate that into the dragon like you just hit on. And I mean, now, right, this is anyone's guess. We're going to see what kind of impact the Riven is able to find as we do go later on the opposite side if BLG can start dissuading some of these engages. That's what, you know, the Event Horizon, the ultimate coming from Poppy are supposed to be used for. We see here, BLG are the ones to start this off. They pop the Yuumi ultimate, and Doggo, once again, ease in aggressively, gets punished for it. That's that surprising amount of Hecarim damage we were just hitting on. And Fofo, also no flash, does go down with Yuukai able to follow up.
That was so close as well, because I feel like if Fofo gets the Jinx there, it's not as bad. It's just a one-for-one trade, and you're kind of like, okay, fine, whatever. Probably still able to contest around this dragon, but because On is able to stay up, because he doesn't go down, it just means they're able to keep themselves in the fight, keep themselves getting objectives, and that's now 2 dragons here for IG. We will see Shun now off to the side, trying to just keep Fofo away, and Shun has been so aggressive, and the funny thing is, I love how everything we talked about in the pregame has just been flipped on its head. Like Doggo, we said it's been one of the best AD carries. It's been caught multiple times, 1 and 4. We thought this was going to be a huge moment. As I'm going to say that, we're going to see now Wei jumping onto the rise. It is a very tanky Yuukai, though. He's got himself plenty of HP and even a stopwatch there, but you invest there. But yeah, BLG fast in the early game. IG not really playing through Zika at all, to be honest with you. It's been all bot side. So what has happened? What have they had in the remix today? Because there's just been something different in the water.
Yeah, I mean, this has been completely different. I mean, even talking about BLG's side of like, okay, them and how strong their bot lane is and all this stuff, being able to cut out these fights. Like, Doggo has been eating forward. He's been getting punished for it. If there's a game where, oh, I'm gonna pause. Shun sees some tasty food.
Zika, though, he gets caught out. The flash into the wall. They're gonna use the wall to try and keep him alive, and they should be able to do it. Look at the shielding. This Lulu is doing so damn much, and Zika survives.
And I mean, we're at a point where Fofo and Doggo not completely online yet. We do have 2 solid items for Fofo, but Doggo is still not as strong as he will be once he is able to start getting some more items under his belt. Now for IG, they're making their way towards the Baron. A little bit scared. Okay, they're backing up.
They could do it. Like, there is a plenty of damage available to them, and they had pressure on the sideways, but they're not going to flip it just yet. It is only 20 minutes or just a bit over into the game, but now out of nowhere, it's a 2,000 gold lead for IG. They've already taken 2 turrets into the mid lane. Let's have a look at the items as we roll down. You've got the Gore Drinker for the Riven. I'm going to stop myself there as we look at the replay here, because they think they caught him here, and Wei even fully commits with his flash.
Yeah, Wei commits, but still, Fofo uses ultimate. They weren't able to finish him off. And like you said, the wild growth and just the shielding coming out from Lulu, able to make it so Zika is able to get away.
All right, reset, 21 minutes into the game. What do you want to see BLG do differently? Because it's been a very fast-paced game. All of a sudden, they're now at 21 minutes. This is where we start to see BLG play a little bit stronger. What do you want to see them do differently to try and maybe just quell some of the weird happenings that are happening right now?
First off, I don't think BLG should be the team that are looking for picks on sides with their mid laner. This is definitely the kind of composition that wants to group up, play as that 4-man core, kite out the enemy team. Even bringing Gwen in, I think, is fine to serve as another pseudo frontliner.
Yuukai does get the blue buff. I don't know if that's where, but now Breed needs to run away because he is in no man's land. He has no ult available to him, but look who's been caught out on the back side of this. It's Zika. Riven was caught between a rock and a Poppy, and that means you are stunned. Now the rest of IG need to run away. They do not have their top laner, and with the prowling projectile pushing forward, getting them into a nice position, Wei can tank up as much as he likes. They won't find anything else, but again, good picks here from BLG.
You know, I think this game has been defined by picks, but mostly, okay, On getting buffed up a little bit. Both teams want this red buff. BLG respecting in the end. I was gonna say, oh no, Sheet, it's still going.
It's still happening. They will eventually back themselves away. On will pick himself up.
No, they won't.
Buff.
They're not backing away. They're gonna walk in mid. They're gonna catch the wave, and then who knows? Because so far, this game has been defined, I feel like, not really by picks, by teams thinking the enemy team is making a mistake, or actually the enemy team will be making a mistake. Then they overextend to try and find that pick, and it gives the other team an ability to collapse, right? So just constantly both sides giving the other opportunities. Dragon coming up in 15 seconds, though. Shun will be on a flank angle.
I was going to say, Shun has a perfect opportunity now to get onto Doggo, who's ulting away. They're going to get the onslaught of shadows, and Doggo is down. Breathe, trying to jump onto On, but he can't really do much because the rest of his team is running away. Fofo trying to do the damage on the Uakai, but he's a very tanky Rise. Flash forward into the Rune Prison. Will Breathe stay alive? No, he won't. He'll die on the backside of this. Poppy is also dead. Fofo and the Cat are the only two left alive. This game has been turned on its head, Lyric.
Yeah, now IG gonna be able to turn over towards the Baron. 4,000 gold lead for them. They're up in Dragons as well. Looks like they're just gonna have Zika go and do that one solo. IG are stepping up. BLG, a little bit of a mess.
This has been the Shun show. This has been all about this Hecarim making his way into these team fights, finding fantastic flanks, and straight up just punishing really poor positioning on the side of BLG.
You know what's funny? I remember in our first team meeting about IG and who they are, we said this was going to be the Shun show, and it has stepped up as BLG try to find themselves a way to just cheekily steal the Baron. They're not able to do it. IG do pick up both neutral objectives on the map. I expect us to get a replay, so now I'm going to take a breath.
Well, no, you're not, because when I look at the replay here, and I think we all know what happens here. This is just Doggo rooting himself with his ultimate.
Unfortunate. Like, all the other ones, like, okay, Doggo, he gets punished, Hecarim's right in front of him, he eats. This one is sad, tries to throw down the ultimate, but Shun, beautiful timing on this one, waiting in the wings to finally engage. The members of IG keep running forward, 3-man strong, while the Riven and Lulu on the opposite side do finish off the Gwen. And I love Uakai aggressively just going onto Fofo, zoning him away. Wei trying to push on further away, does end up just getting rooted down, taken down.
Yeah, Breathe is dead right now. He's going to get knocked back. They're going to have the onslaught of shadows to clear him up. He does have himself the needlework and is doing work with the needles, but nothing else he can do. And you know what, Lucas? You deserve that one there. You picked up the Chemtech Putrefier. You're getting that AoE Grievous Wounds for your teams. I respect you.
This honestly might be the most, like, Fiesta-y game of LPL.
Oh yeah, at least of the year.
I was gonna say, like sure, crazy backdoors and all that. I understand that stuff though. A lot of the times on the picks were coming out onto the map, it's like, man, why or how did this person get here? IG now though gonna just be able to keep using their Baron to put pressure on this bottom side. For the fact that they will be able to maintain pressure means they should be able to keep efficient as well, and should be in a good position.
There we go, final chapter, does get the lock in. Zika does go into his Zonya's state as he had a broken stopwatch. Now he's going to get away just about from the Horizon focus, but now the TP from the Gwen is going to mean they're going to be coming in thick and fast. There is 3 minutes though until the next real objective. They'll pick up one, but look at the mid lane. Shun's pushing his Hecarim. He could just take the turret. He's honestly just so big right now, but unfortunately for him, the minion wave is going to stop him.
But On and Lucas are here, so they fast track on mid. They will be able to get some damage down. BLG. They have some members coming to respond now.
They almost get it. They don't want to flip it over just yet. Wei is pushing forward. We'll try to get the heroic charge down to try and maybe scare On, but not able to do it. And it'll probably just be a tier 2 in this top side. Good vision here, though, from the side of BLG means that IG don't feel comfortable walking forward. They don't feel comfortable working towards this, and they're going to have to back away. So BLG picking up the pace and saying, IG, you don't get the run of this game at the moment.
No, and BLG pressing forward into the enemy jungle. Wei gonna try and get some information, get some vision down. No real structures or anything easily able for BLG to be able to take, though.
Well, Shun just saying, I see you. Forcing everyone on the back away from this. And I think this is the big issue that we're seeing as well. Like we're going back to how BLG play as a team and how they like to set up games. And in most of their victories, it has been when they're in control of the pace, when they're the ones dictating where the plays happen and how they kind of go about it. I say that On might be needing a wild growth in a second or two. As I say that, Doggo lands onto the traps, and I was getting a 6th time of deja vu for him dying.
Yeah, and I feel like the biggest problem for them is the fact that Shun is the one who got big off of the early mistakes coming out from the side of BLG, right? Because he's the only one who's realistically able to close that distance. You know, maybe a bit of underestimation on my part of how much this Hecarim would be able to, you know,
both our parts.
Yeah, just the ease of access he has to the backline against all the CC and like annoyances on the side of BLG, but especially with the speed up coming out from Lucas, he's been able to find it every time. And again, a lot of the time it has been creative angles where he is able to perfectly come from behind and get on top of Doggo.
And honestly, with Shun getting so big, he's got himself a Force of Nature. That's extra magic resistance, which you can now see Fofo kind of saying, okay, I need a bit of pen here. He's not able to go straight, actually nowhere near towards his Rabadon's Death Cap, which is such a massive item for Vigard just because of how well it synergizes with his kit. You not only, of course, get your own AP increase, but the AP you gain from your Q stacking or your passive stacking, so which is a phenomenal evil, I think is what it's called. But it is just little things like this that are just working in the favor of IG, and it's been not clean in the slightest. But they are now onto 3 items onto the Jinx. They now have themselves 3 items onto the Ryze as well.
Also, I want to say, I think Force of Nature, absolutely disgusting item for the fact of all the buffs that came through on it as well. It got more MR, it got more damage reduction as well added when you do get like the full stack. So right now, just incredibly strong item.
I mean, Doggo is so big right now. 14 seconds. This would be Soul here for IG. As now we can see the fight really begin there. Breathe and Weiwei trying to work in here with the Yuumi. And Yukai trying to see if he can deal with Fofo. It's a fight on 2 fronts. It's a 1v1. No, it's not. It's a 2v1. Fofo, you're dead. He goes golden, but only for a few seconds because he's going to fall. Zika uses the Blade of the Exile to cut him down. And now IG have themselves a moment with a 5v4.
And once again, it was all Shun coming around the side to distract the other members. They're still here. BLG still want to fight this, though. Breathe this full stack on the Q and has the ultimate.
Oh, Yukai flashes forward, but you can see Doggo immediately goes back over the wall, and now the onslaught of shadows is here, and Doggo has been caught, but they found out Shun, and they take him down. You do not have a jungler anymore, but you got to watch out for this Ryze, because he is big, even bigger with the wild growth as he keeps pushing forward. Doggo trying to play out to the backside, but now Weiwei is dead, and look it on. He's getting the reset. He's going to be able to get one more kill. He couldn't see Doggo, so he couldn't kill him, but it does not matter. IG will keep going, and Zika will find the last kill. Here, kitty, 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 you're going down. There's nowhere for you to go, nothing for you to do. The cat's in the bag, thrown in the river. Ocean Soul available for IG.
Ocean Soul going over to IG, completely sweeping BLG in that fight. I mean, we saw the amount of damage that Yukai was putting out, just the way they were pulling them apart. Now for IG, have some good resets come out, start making your way towards that Baron.
Massive swap, and look at this from IG as well. Let's have a look at the replay here. This is a 4v5, and still they know they have to go for this.
Yeah, this is the second half of the fight. Shun coming in while the others were forced back a little bit, but I like Yukai takes agency, walk forward, roots Weiwei, gets all this damage down. They keep Doggo out of the fight on the flank as well. And then once Zika is able to flash in, find the kill on Weiwei, everything goes in their favor, but no vision on Doggo. Did allow for that last kill to come out in his favor. Still, though, IG come out of the fight with a tremendous win.
Tremendous win and a tremendous lead as well. They've got themselves the Ocean Soul. They have full pressure now around this Baron pit. They've got massive items onto their carries. This is the game where IG should be coming out on top. This is a game where BLG haven't got the answers to what they're doing. And now Shun thought he was going a little bit too aggressive, but no, just using the blast cone, and now IG can just make themselves known. They're going to go straight towards that Baron because they know there's just not really much of an answer here from the side of BLG. They can shred this.
Yeah, especially with how big On is right now, sitting at 3 items. They're whittling this down so fast. Poppy ultimate.
Poppy ult. They're going to try and wait for it to come out. There we go. Not going to get up. Weiwei goes another fight. It's stolen! They go for Fofo, but Weiwei is finally getting taken down. They will get the GA out. Or sorry, not even the GA. Yes, no, it is the GA out of Zika. Thought he went into stasis. You trade it 1 for 1, or 1 for none, but you get the Baron as BLG.
That was so big coming out from Fofo. There was so much chaos in the pit. It looked like anyone could get it. Still, though, IG pick up 1 kill. They're going to force their way down mid, but with these Baron buff minions, I don't think IG can do anything here.
I mean, they can go top as well. You got to remember, the big front line to stop you from diving was Weiwei. He's not up for another 15 seconds. So will you be able to get an inhibitor turret? Probably not, but you'll get every other standing turret on the map. And this is becoming a little bit easier now for BLG. As you can start to see Fofo, his damage is getting scary.
Yeah, Fofo is starting to become that monster. I mean, the last time we checked up on him was 2 items, now sitting at 4. Void Staff in his inventory to go up against all of these Force of Natures on the opposite side. We're going to see here how this one didn't get smited by either jungler. Both junglers have their smites up.
Missmited it. Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just missmited it.
I was going to say, just, you know, neither smite coming out. I mean, there's a ton of burst damage coming out from both sides at this point, right? So Great by Fofo to be able to secure that one for the side of BLG. Still, though, Soul coming out on the opposite side. One thing we didn't hit on, right? You have Ocean Soul up against what is effectively a poke comp. Sure, BLG have been playing a lot of all-ins, so they still are getting a lot of fights going
but they have.
Yeah, but exactly. But still, at least a lot of the damage that Doggo is putting off specifically in these standoffs will be negligible in the long run for the side of IG.
This game's getting awfully tense all of a sudden.
This game's tense, Ashin. It's tense.
Very tense. Let's have a quick recap of where we're at. It's still a gold lead for IG, but gold's starting to mean less and less. You have got the Ocean Soul for them. They've got 6 turrets to 3, so there's an awful lot of standing gold available to the side of BLG, and they have some bounties as well. Quick look at the items. You mentioned the 4 items for the Veigar, but you're also looking at the Gwen now picking up that Zhonya's. You 4.5 items for the Ezreal, who finally picked up the Duskblade. You are just waiting for these critical mass moments here for both these teams, and they both have massive carries that can do it for either side.
Yeah, and both right now just waiting for an opportunity. And the thing is, right, it's going to be up to whichever team looks for an aggressive pick, which it looks like is going to be BLG, but I think when you're in this tense of a position, oh my god, this damage from On.
The TP is going to be from Uakai. They're going in with Shun. They're going to try and make this one work. Immediately, though, the Keeper's verdict says that you are not in this fight now. It's a 5v3. You need On to get it, but a massive Horizon focus does stop On from making any real damage. They'll trade it back. It's a 3v4. It's a 3v4, all relying on Jinx with a double kill. Doggo's in trouble. Can he get any more damage down? It could be enough from the Gwen.
Oh,
no,
they kill each other.
The 80 carries kill each other off. It's a 2v2, but you've got Gwen and a Cat. You're going to be far better off in that situation as BLG than IG. IG's Lucas will sacrifice his life to try and make sure that they do not get anything else off of this, but it is going to be a 4-for-3 trade in favor of BLG. Important, though, for IG, they cut off the wave.
Yeah, oh my god, these fights are coming down to the wire in terms of the smallest details making a difference. Is Breathe. Okay, I thought Breathe was still going to be hunting for Zika, but Zika will be able to get out. It feels like we're just at this point locked in such a stalemate. We're going to go straight into the replay. We saw the big damage coming out. Shun immediately going in. Gets so far from his team. Really nice Poppy ultimate to take Zika out of the fight. Allows for Shun to go down scot-free, but on the opposite side, pinching Fofo. I feel like for IG, had they been able to get a coordinated engage onto the side of BLG, this would have been a flat-out win. But with the knockback coming out from the Poppy, On here having to put up his best performance, trying to flash some of the Qs coming out, even Doggo's ultimate ultimately being dodged out on. Still, though, enough damage between them to just take each other out. And like you said, Gwen with Yumi at this point, going to be faring a lot better against the Riven with the Lulu.
Straight up, if On's able to survive that, they win. They just get the pentakill. There's nothing else you can do about it. The barrier, the heal, the exhaust, everything was used by BLG.
The most critical thing, right? If Zika had been able to get on the backline with Shun, then maybe you have the stun come out, he doesn't get blown up right away, and more damage comes out.
Shun is going to try and maybe make this one work. Wei goes in onto Uakai, but he's very tanky, and you are not. You're getting shredded down. On gets one. Can they get another? They'll pick up Doggo, and the Cat is dead. Now Breathe has to be the carry here for BLG, but he's stunned up, and they're all within his mist. There's nothing he can do. Now Fofo is trying to run away from the big old pony as the rest of IG barrel down mid.
Yeah, and I think for IG, this should just be the end, right? 30 to 50 second death timers. They have a wave in top. They're going to be able to do this. Shun just needs to keep Fofo from going back.
He just needs to stop the recalls. Even if he dies, it should be fine. You can see there Fofo just trying to see if he can take him out, but you've got the regen coming in as well. He's even got himself a stopwatch.
The Predator!
He's gonna go for it. He's chasing him down, but I don't think it's the right target. You need to try and get back to your base, my friend.
It's doomed, Ashin. It's doomed.
It's doomed indeed. IG will take a banger of a Game 1 and will go 1-0 up in this best of 3.
What was this game? I seriously don't know. The action from the first minutes was all over the place. From failed dives to failed ganks to people getting picked off by themselves to those crazy team fights with both 80 carries killing each other.